It is Tuesday. It is the 30th of April. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Making news today. In Libya, witnesses say armed men in trucks loaded with anti-aircraft guns have now taken over the Ministry of Justice. A similar siege continues at the Foreign Ministry for a third day. The armed protesters are calling for a new law to ban Gaddafi-era officials from taking government positions. CNN's Monita Rajpal joins us now on the line from Tripoli. Jumana, give us a sense of what's happening right now.
Country's justice minister who confirms that his
Shock is turning to anger in Bangladesh, where people are demanding answers about who was responsible for a large building collapsing last week, killing as many as 1,000 people. These are the latest pictures from the capital, Dhaka. Protesters have been out in force, calling for the man who owned the building to be given the death penalty. CNN's Sumnima Udas is reporting on the story from nearby New Delhi in India. Sumnima, we heard there that we understand that the Home Secretary reportedly has said or described their rescue operation as sufficient and exemplary. How are locals seeing it?
Well, Monita, for those more than 2,700 people who were rescued safely, the rescue operation presumably went very well, and they're delighted. But for those hundreds of people still waiting...
Sumnima, thank you very much for that. Sumnima Udas reporting to us there live from New Delhi. Just adding on to what Sumnima was reporting, pressure is also mounting on Western retailers who bought clothes made in the building. There are growing calls for them to do more to protect local workers. Two big brands, Primark in the UK and Loblaws in Canada, have stepped forward to say they will compensate the families of the victims. Syrian state TV says terrorists set off a bomb in central Damascus, killing at least 13 people. A non-government body, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, says a car bomb exploded near the old Ministry of the Interior building. It said the number of casualties is expected to rise. With one eye firmly on neighboring North Korea, the South Korean Defense Ministry says its joint military drills with the United States have officially ended. The North has often expressed anger over the exercises, saying they'll bring the peninsula to a nuclear war. U.S. authorities are checking possible links between one of the Boston bombers, the alleged Boston bombers, Tamerlan Tsarnaev, and two militants killed in Dagestan last year by Russian troops. The deceased bombing suspect visited the Russian Republic that same year. Meanwhile, law enforcement sources tell CNN that female DNA has been found on a fragment of the bombs used in the deadly April 15th attack in Boston. The U.S. military is sending extra medical staff to the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center as a prisoner hunger strike there grows. Some 40 reinforcements have arrived over the weekend as the strike entered its 12th week. The American Medical Association is questioning whether doctors are being asked to violate their ethics by force-feeding the prisoners. Amanda Knox says she wasn't allowed to grieve for her murdered roommate, Meredith Kircher. Knox faces a retrial for the murder of the British student. She spent 4 years in an Italian prison until her conviction was overturned in 2011. Now, you are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Coming up, a royal exchange. It is the end of an era for European royalty with a new king for the Netherlands. We'll take you live to Amsterdam. We're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Hello, everyone. I'm Monita Rajpal. Let's get a check now of weather conditions. Let's go to our meteorologist, Mari Ramos, is at the World Weather Center. And Mari, from what I'm hearing, for many in Europe, they're starting to actually feel like it's spring, and it is almost May.
Yeah, you know, particularly across Eastern Europe. Remember how the winter just lasted for so long, Monita? And, you know, you lived in Europe for a long time, and it's, you know, people just wait for so long for those warm temperatures to come, and we did get...
Right. Mari, thank you very much for that. Well, if you were in Amsterdam, it certainly was a bright day as a new chapter in European royalty begins. A new monarch for the Netherlands. A short time ago, Queen Beatrix signed the abdication document that makes her son the country's first king in more than a century. Her 33-year reign has been popular, and now Amsterdam is throwing her a big party. CNN's royal correspondent Max Foster is in the middle of all the festivities. He joins us now live from Amsterdam. And it seems as though, Max, everyone is up. They may be sad to see see Queen Beatrix, now Princess Beatrix, go, but they're certainly happy to see the new king installed.
Yeah, it does seem like a really happy occasion, I have to say. Down in Amsterdam, I mean, the city's gone completely wild.
It's nice to see you wearing the orange too there, Max. Thank you very much for that. Max Foster, our royal correspondent, live for us from Amsterdam. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong, where... We're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. A star-studded lineup is due to testify in the Michael Jackson wrongful death trial. His family is seeking damages from concert promoter AEG Live because it hired and supervised Jackson's doctor, Conrad Murray. Murray was convicted of involuntary manslaughter for giving Jackson a fatal dose of the drug propofol. Kyung La reports now on Monday's opening statements.
You could barely see Jackson family members amid a crush of cameras as they arrived at the wrongful death civil trial.
Nine-time European champions Real Madrid will look to overturn a massive deficit as they look to reach the Champions League final on Tuesday. Amanda Davis joins us now from London with more on that. Hello, Amanda.
Hi, Monita. Yeah, I think there's some pretty nervous Real Madrid fans this morning because Jose Mourinho has described their Champions League semi-final second leg against Borussia Dortmund as... And Monita, it's very interesting. Colin says he wants to carry on playing. I don't know whether you remember the MLS footballer Robbie Rogers, who came out earlier this year. He said that he felt he had to retire having come out. But because the reaction has been so positive, he has said more recently that actually he's considering going back to professional sports. So it'll be very interesting to see whether both he and Collins does carry on with their careers.
Yeah, at the end of the day, all that should matter is how they perform on the court, on the field, on the pitch, wherever it may be. That's all that should matter, not what they do outside of that, whatever their sexual orientation would be. That's my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Amanda, thank you very much for that. Amanda Davis, live first there from London. You are watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal, live at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. We'll update you with the news headlines in just a few minutes.